According to Swedish radio, I am a threat to democracy. They really are mad. See, when I went there and talked about what was going on in Malmö and saying it was kind of fine, they loved it. They paraded me around saying, what a great journalist. In fact, one of the local politicians said I was one of the smartest and most well-read journalists he's met since becoming a politician. But what happens when my view of Sweden goes south and it's not so positive, doesn't paint them in a good light? How's it going, everybody? This video is going to be a short one because the time difference of traveling back from Europe to the US sucks out a lot of working hours, and so literally after shooting this video we're going to the airport. By the time this video comes out, I will be on a plane. But I want to take this opportunity to address some media concerns. Okay, I haven't been in Sweden for, I don't know, days now. So we left on the 8th. So we haven't been there in like 3 days, but they're still talking about my coverage. And I actually just got an email from Swedish television the other day asking if they can use a clip from my YouTube videos to address one of the criticisms I had. They're bringing up the fact that I mentioned they don't report on a person's race or ethnicity or national origin, and they showed me this snippet that explains their policy on how they don't do this. So for one thing I want to say is it's not my opinion that it's bad. It's not my opinion that news organizations should or should not report on the race or ethnicity or religion, whatever. I'm simply stating that the practice that they're engaged in is driving viewers to alternative news websites and then subsequently driving them to the far-right parties. But the more interesting thing that I want to talk about is how apparently I'm a threat to democracy. There's this story from Swedish radio about parachute journalism, and it says parachute journalism, like Tim Pool, is a threat to democracy. It's the same old story we hear all the time about how a journalist will land in some place with little research, not knowing what's going on or what they're doing, and then try and put a story together. And I've heard this a million times. So look, if you want to say that what I'm doing is a threat to democracy, then why don't you go call any of the other major news organizations that do quite literally the same thing with substantially more people? There's an op-ed criticizing the work I did in Sweden, and there's another story where they talk about how correspondents were trying to pay kids in Rinkeby to make action happen or do something like that, and then they include me, once again in the story, claiming that I exaggerated what happened in Rinkeby. For this I'll say, for one thing, multiple journalists from SVT have flat out told us they've experienced much worse in Rinkeby than what happened to us. We got told to leave, and the police followed us out to our car. Almost nothing happened. A few weeks before we got there, a photographer was beaten. There's the video from 60 Minutes, and there's Ami Horwitz's video where he says that he was setting up a shot and got attacked. We've spoken, again, with multiple SVT journalists who said, oh yeah, we have problems there sometimes. It's the same old story, I hear it over and over again, and look, if you want to call me a parachute journalist, fine. By all means, go for it. It's not going to change what I do, I'm going to keep doing my thing, you can say whatever you want. But you want to go at it, I'll say this. I don't like your desktop journalism. You've got almost all journalists today, if you can even call them journalists, sitting at desks, typing away, rewriting stories that have already been written by somebody else. It's like a big game of telephone. Maybe they make a phone call and get a quote or a comment from somebody. They'll send me an email and ask me to make a statement. How often are these people going out into the field and actually talking with people and doing real stories? And the reality is, it's not a whole lot of journalists who are doing real journalism these days. But you know what? This just exemplifies my criticism of the media from my last video. They would rather argue whether or not I'm a journalist or talk about how what I'm doing is a threat to democracy than to actually confront the issues I brought up in my last video. And that's part of the problem, that they're having meta discussions about my journalism instead of the facts and the issues my journalism addressed. And what do you think is going to happen when the average person is sick and tired of reading a story about the journalists instead of reading a story about the issues their country is facing? It's going to drive them to alternative media websites and then subsequently far conservative parties. And it's not too dissimilar to what we're seeing in the United States. And I think is a lesson for the media. news is just flowing straight through Twitter and Facebook and other social platforms. And so what else can these news companies do, I guess, than give analysis and try and talk about something? But I guess when you have nothing else to talk about, you can talk about me. Anyway, I'm on a plane right now if you're watching this video. I just wanted to make this short something addressing these ridiculous op-eds that have come out about me. Stay tuned. More actual news every day. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Timcast. You can like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this. And seriously, comment below, because I do read your comments, and I will take your tips and advice. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all tomorrow.